Hey guys, I'm Taryn. I'm a self-taught game developer and current stay-at-home mom. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through some tips for doing the 100 Days of Coding Challenge as a stay-at-home mom. So tip number 1 is to know your why. There are many different reasons for doing 100 days of code. You might be doing it to build new skills, build a habit, start a career change, or just have fun. Before you get started, I really recommend sitting down, maybe taking a pen and a piece of paper and writing out what your why is for doing 100 days of code. As a stay-at-home parent or as somebody who works maybe a 9-to-5 job, you don't have a lot of time, and so you want to make sure you're doing 100 days of code for the right reasons. If your goal at the end of those 100 days is to be an expert in coding, then you probably need to revise that goal. For me, I did 100 days of code to build a coding habit that I can continue after the challenge is over. Tip number 2 is to have a plan. If you might be watching kids all day and you're tired and you're looking forward to doing some coding in the evening, if this sounds like you, then I really recommend taking a couple minutes when you can during the day and writing down what your coding plan is for the evening. So that way, when you're ready to code at night, you already have a plan and you don't have to waste time trying to figure out what you should be doing. This is why I recommend also having a resource list with various websites, project ideas, etc. nearby your workstation, so that if you need something new to work on, if you need some inspiration, you have a list of resources already ready to go. Tip number 3 is to look for opportunities. This is a big one for stay-at-home parents. There are often times when you have a bit of downtime during the day. Maybe your kids are playing quietly, or your kids are napping, or sometimes maybe you're just sitting in the car waiting for school pickup, and this is actually a great time to get in some coding. There are various learning apps and there are code editor apps. These are really useful for coding on the go, and it's one of the best ways to get in moments of coding here and there throughout the day, and I find these moments really do add up over time. Tip number 4 is to reward yourself. As parents, we're all very familiar with reward systems, reward charts that we use for rewarding our kids' good behavior, for potty training, etc. And I say, why not use something like that for us as well? So for 100 days of code, I would give myself a little reward after every 10 days I did. And the rewards were small, things like a drink from my favorite coffee shop, or a muffin, or a chapstick, things like that. But I really do feel like it was good incentive to keep going. Of course, I love coding as well, so that wasn't the only incentive, but it really does work. The reward system does work, so try it out. Tip number 5 is to learn to love it. A lot of what makes people successful during 100 days of code is mindset. And if you're somebody who's coming to this challenge completely new to coding, or maybe you're already feeling burnt out, it's really important to give yourself a mindset change so that you are ready to tackle the challenge. So some of the advice I would give is to quit questioning why you're doing 100 days of code. Once you've decided to do it, just commit to it. Don't worry about whether you're doing the right thing, whether you should be doing something else, what other people are doing. Commit to it and don't question yourself. I also really recommend focusing on the future benefits of what you're doing. So maybe you're doing this to make a transition into the tech industry. And if that's the case, then focus on those future benefits. And lastly, I really recommend trying to create a learner's environment. And by this I mean setting up your space so that you have snacks, candles, chapstick, drinks, whatever else you need to make sure you're ready to concentrate when it's time to sit down and code. And all of these tips will make sure that you have the right mindset for taking on the 100 Days Challenge. Tip number 6 is to listen for your red flags. So as parents, we know that our moods really affect the moods of our kids. And so in order to keep the whole house even-keeled when we're working on the 100 Days Challenge, I find it's really important to pay attention to our moods. So there's going to be some nights, some days when you're just too tired. Maybe you can only manage 10 or 15 minutes of coding, and that's okay. The goal is to be consistent and to try a bit of coding each and every day. If you find yourself feeling tired or overwhelmed or stressed out, these are the red flags that you need to be watching for. And when you see one of those red flags, you should take proactive steps to try and reset your mood and recharge your energy levels. So for me, I found that taking a walk, having a cup of coffee really helped, and made sure that I was able to tackle the challenge again the following day. Tip number 7 is to record your progress. So I think this one is really important. I would record my progress every day using a daily planner, and I also used a Notion template to record most of my days. I also used Instagram to do a daily log of my progress, and this was a really great tool because I was inspired to upload photos and videos of the projects I was working on. And now that I'm done the 100 Days Challenge, I have a really cool visual record to look back over and to learn from. Tip number 8, and this is a big one. So they say that comparison is the thief of joy, and that definitely applies to 100 Days of Code. Once you've decided to do the 100 days, focus on your journey, not everyone else's. There are so many developers on online communities. There are self-taught developers, there are developers who have done multiple coding boot camps, and it can be really intimidating if you're just starting out in coding to see these other more experienced developers doing the 100 Days of Code challenge with you. So definitely connect with these other developers, learn from them, become friends with them, but don't let their success dissuade you from taking on the challenge yourself. Your journey is what is important here, and that's what you need to keep your focus on during the challenge. Okay, tip number 9 is to enlist help. Now, I realize this isn't available to everyone, but if you do have a friend, family member, spouse, of course, who is able to watch the kids so that you can do some coding, then definitely take the help. That's it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope that everybody watching this does take on the 100 Days of Code challenge. It is a great way to build your coding habit, learn a new skill, meet some cool people online, and just have a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.